been a night person for as long as I can remember, not by choice, just by the way life shaped itself around me. I work late shifts, sleep through most of the day, and stay awake long after the rest of the world has gone quiet. You see things differently at night. Houses feel different. Streets feel different. You notice sounds you would never pay attention to during the day. And sometimes, those sounds aren't normal. This story happened 2 years ago when I rented a small studio apartment just outside Portland, Oregon. It was a cheap place. One of those half-renovated studio units that landlords try to pass off as modern minimalist living. The truth was it was old. Really old. The ceilings were high, almost unnecessarily so, and the walls made these shifting, cracking noises whenever the weather changed. But it was affordable, close to my job, and most importantly, it was quiet, or at least, I thought it was. The first strange incident happened on my third night there. I was lying in bed scrolling on my phone around 2:30 a.m. when I heard what sounded like something moving above me. Not the typical house settling creaks, not rats or raccoons. I know what those sound like. This was different. It was slow, purposeful, a dragging sound, a sliding sound, like hands and feet moving across wood. I remember freezing, my phone still lighting up the room as the noise continued for several seconds. I stared at the ceiling, unsure if I was imagining it. Eventually it stopped, and I convinced myself it was just pipes or the building expanding from temperature changes. But deep down, something felt wrong. The next few nights were quiet, almost peaceful. Then around the fifth night, I heard it again. This time I was asleep and woke up at around 3:17 a.m. to that same dragging sound directly above me. Except this time it wasn't just moving, it was scratching. Long, slow scratches, like nails dragging against wood. I sat up, trying to steady my breathing, listening hard. The sound continued, creeping across the ceiling from one end of the room to the other. Then it stopped right above my bed, right above my head. I remember whispering to myself, "It's just an animal." I didn't believe it even as I said it. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. By the seventh day, I couldn't ignore it anymore. The landlord lived 2 floors below and rarely came by, but I called him that morning and told him something was in the ceiling. He brushed it off, said it was probably old building noises, and that the previous tenant had also complained about creaks. I asked if anyone had ever checked the ceiling crawl space. That's when he hesitated. "There isn't a crawl space," he said. "The upper floor was removed during renovation. There's just insulation up there." I hung up on him. Because if there's no crawl space, if no one can access the ceiling, what the hell is crawling around above me? The next night, things escalated. I came home from work around midnight and took a shower. When I stepped out, wiping the mirror, I noticed something on the bathroom ceiling. A dark patch. Not water damage, not mold. It looked like a handprint, 5 long fingers spread unnaturally wide, almost like they were bending backward. I stood there staring at it for almost a full minute before I backed out of the bathroom and shut off the light. Later that night, at exactly 3:12 a.m., I heard footsteps. Not above me this time. Not in the ceiling. On the ceiling. Clear, deliberate footsteps walking across it. Slow, heavy, rhythmic, and then I heard something I will never forget. Breathing. Something was breathing directly above me. Soft at first, like someone trying to stay quiet. Then deeper, heavier, like lungs filling and emptying in long, deliberate pulls. I lay in bed frozen, staring up, tears filling my eyes from terror. Then, the footsteps started moving down the ceiling, toward the wall, down the wall, until it reached the corner of the room. I could hear it, clinging vertically like some giant insect. I didn't move until morning. From that point on, things just kept getting worse. Sleep became nearly impossible. Every night, around the same time, I'd hear it. First the dragging, then the scratching, then the footsteps, then the breathing. It always came at 3 a.m. without fail, like it followed a schedule. Some nights, it would move across the entire ceiling, crawling from one corner to the other. On a few occasions, I heard it stop right above where I sat or stood, like it knew exactly where I was. One night, I tried recording it with my phone. I set the device on my bedside table and hit record before pretending to sleep. At 3:09 a.m., right on schedule, the noises began. The crawling, the clicking, the dragging. But something new happened this time. It spoke. I don't know if spoke is the right word. It sounded like whispering, but not in any language I could recognize. It was frantic and fast, as though someone or something was pressed up against the ceiling trying to speak through the wood. A mixture of growls, clicks, and wet breathing blended into a horrifying broken whisper. My whole body tensed up, but I kept still, pretending to sleep. Then the whispering stopped. I felt something tapping on the ceiling above my stomach. A finger, then another, then a full hand. It tapped slowly, rhythmically, almost like knocking. I wanted to jump up and run out, but fear glued me to the bed. Eventually, around 4 a.m., the sounds faded. When the sun rose, I checked my phone. The recording was corrupted. Not deleted, not silent, completely corrupted, like someone had overwritten it with static. I moved out to sleep in my car that night, but that wasn't the end. That afternoon, I went back to gather more of my things. My friend Evan, who lived about 10 minutes away, offered to come help me pack. We were stuffing clothes into boxes when he suddenly stopped and looked up. What the hell is that? I followed his eyes. There were now multiple handprints on the ceiling. 10, maybe more, all twisted, all long-fingered. Some looked newer than others. Evan let out a low whistle. Dude, that's not water damage. That's like someone touching your ceiling. Before I could answer, we heard it. A thud above us, followed by another and another. Then the dragging began. I saw the color drain from Evan's face. Bro, what the hell is living up there? I didn't answer, because I didn't know, because there shouldn't be anything up there. The dragging grew louder, angrier, more frantic. Then suddenly, scratch, 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 scratch. No, we're leaving. You can burn this place down for all I care. We ran out of the apartment. Outside, the landlord was walking up the path. Evan yelled at him to call animal control or the police or something. The landlord frowned and shook his head. I told you, he said calmly. No animals can get into the ceiling. And definitely not anything big enough to make those sounds. But there is something there. I yelled. You heard it now, right? He sighed. Listen, I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to scare you, but the previous tenant, the one before you, he rubbed the back of his neck. She said the same thing. My heart dropped. I asked him what happened to her. He swallowed. She moved out after just 2 weeks. I found her belongings still here. She wouldn't even come back inside. Why? I asked. He hesitated again. She claimed something lived in the ceiling, something that watched her sleep. Evan and I exchanged a look. The landlord continued. She said it came down at night, crawled on the walls, whispered to her. I didn't believe her, but she was scared, like genuinely terrified. We asked if he had checked the ceiling. I did, he said. It's sealed shut. There's no space for anything to be up there. Trust me, if there was something, I'd have taken care of it. Evan muttered, then what the hell is in there now? The landlord didn't answer. I didn't sleep in that apartment again. For the next few days, I stayed at Evan's place while trying to break the lease. I came back once more, during daylight, to get the rest of my things. It was around 3 p.m. Warm, bright sunlight was filling the room. It almost made the place feel normal again. Almost. Until I saw the ceiling. The handprints weren't just in the bathroom anymore. They were everywhere. Above the bed, above the kitchen, above the doorway. Some smeared across the ceiling like something had been dragging its hands while crawling. I packed the last of my things in a rush and left. As I reached the door, something made me stop. A sound. Soft. Slow. Directly above me, I turned and saw dust fall from the ceiling, like something had just moved. Something heavy. I didn't wait. I ran. 2 weeks passed. I moved into a new apartment. Newer, brighter, safer. I tried telling myself it was over. But trauma doesn't leave that easily. One night, while lying in bed in my new place, I heard something that made my blood run cold. Not scratching, not footsteps, breathing, soft, slow, familiar. I sat up instantly, staring around the room. Nothing, just darkness. Hours passed. I didn't hear anything else. I told myself it was just anxiety, just my mind replaying the past. Then, one morning as I stepped into the shower, I saw it. A handprint. Faint, wet, high on the bathroom wall, 5 long fingers, too long, I backed out of the bathroom slowly. That night, unable to sleep, I sat in the living room with the lights on. I kept glancing at the ceiling, waiting, fearing, anticipating something. At exactly 3 a.m., a noise came from the hallway outside my unit. Scratch. My heart stopped. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Closer. Then something dragged across the ceiling outside my door. Sliding, scraping, moving. I held my breath. Then it stopped, right above my front door. And in the dead silence that followed, I heard it whisper, low, wet, guttural. Like it had followed me, like it knew where I lived now, its were severally. Like it wasn't trapped in that old apartment at all. It was attached to me. And then, the whispering stopped. I didn't sleep that night. To this day, I still hear it sometimes. Always at 3 a.m. Always above me. Always just out of sight. Dragging itself. Scratching. Waiting. I don't know what it wants. I don't know why it chose me. I don't know what it is or how to stop it. All I know is this. If you ever hear footsteps, but they're coming from the ceiling. If you ever hear breathing in your walls, whispers that don't belong, scratches that follow you from room to room, leave. Because once it notices you, once it learns your routine, once it crawls toward you, it never leaves. And sometimes, late at night, I swear it's getting closer. I swear I can hear it right above me now, listening, waiting, crawling. If you enjoyed this story and want more spine-chilling nightmares, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Dark Vision. Your support helps us bring you deeper into the darkness.